occupied city of Oakland.
Byron Kirkwood is rehearsing for what he believes will be a time of upheaval, a time when all normal lines of communication are disrupted and maybe only ham radios link the survivors. Byron and his wife Annie believe that our planet is headed for a biblical event not unlike the 3 days of darkness. They feel that survival may require preparation. Operating from their home in suburban Texas, they have built a mail-order business offering survival supplies and information.
All I've done is try to pull together the information provided by other sources, including the predictions of Nostradamus, Edgar Cayce, and psychics and prophet like this, try to paint a picture of what may happen so that we can physically prepare for this.
Although these prophets appear to share a vision of the near future, they differ on the exact form it will take.
There's no predictions that say that any place will be completely safe. Between now and the end of the century, we'll have increasingly large storms, tornadoes, earthquakes, mudslides, forest fires, many of those same things that you can open a newspaper or turn on the news on the TV and hear that are going on now.
The Kirkwoods worry that natural or man-made disasters will disable emergency services of fire, police, and ambulance. If they're right, there will be a need for everyone to become self-reliant and help others.
You won't be able to pick up your phone and dial 911 and have the emergency technician show up to help you. So if you're sitting there waiting for the government to show up and take care of everything, you're going to be awful lonely. You're going to get awful hungry and awful thirsty.
When disaster threatens, the Kirkwoods advise activating a survival plan, and the first step is to have the necessary supplies at hand to counter the crisis. The Kirkwoods have modified the traditional earthquake kit into a grab-and-run bag designed to meet basic requirements.
The ideal of a grab-and-run kit is a kit of things that you'd want to have with you should an emergency happen. The first thing is a first aid kit. You'll want to have a certain amount of water with you. You'll want the ability to start fires when you make a campfire. So it's a kit of those things you'd want to grab when you get in your car and flee your home.
As in the allegorical 3 days of darkness, during times of widespread destruction due to a breakdown of food distribution and essential services, urban areas may deteriorate into chaos. Byron's advice is to move into the country, away from dense population centers, and return to nature.
I recommend that people leave the city and move to a rural area where they can grow their own food, they can have their own source of water.
Living close to the land may require self-reliance, a return to the bicycle for transportation, the preserving and stockpiling of foods, the filtration of contaminated water.
If you have water, if you have food, if you have medical supplies, if you have tools, if you have gasoline, those will be the real money there for a while.
Being isolated in the country may also mean doing without doctors and medical services.
The first thing I suggest that everybody do immediately is take a first aid course, a first aid CPR course. Because when these things happen, you want to be able to stop the bleeding. It may be you that somebody's taking care of, or it may be you taking care of a loved one or a complete stranger.
In any isolated rural existence, Byron cautions that one of the most fundamental problems will be locating food.
We'll be living off the land. We'll have to be growing our own food. We may have to hunt for meat again. Some of the people that are really going to be disappointed are the people that don't think this is going to happen, don't prepare, and sure enough it does, and they live through it.
One possible future scenario that concerns Byron is a series of massive volcanic eruptions releasing poisonous fumes into the air.
There'll be enough volcanic ash in the air that people will literally breathe the sulfur dioxide and keel over dead. You want to find an area in your house that you can seal off so that this gas won't get inside the house.
Byron speculates that an atmospheric layer of volcanic ash blocking out sunlight might offer one clue to the story of the 3 days of darkness.
You can have candles, but the winds are going to be strong. The candles may get blown over, blown out, or catch fire. The particular item that I picked to have a supply of during that time is chemical brake lights, because they don't use electricity, they don't have an open flame, they don't generate any heat.
Perhaps the most unbelievable effect of the 3 days of darkness involves what Byron feels will be a shift of the Earth's axis, a shift that will trigger a gravitational change.
There may be a time where the gravity will increase when the planet's rotating to the point that we may be actually forced to the floor, kind of like the acceleration experienced by jet pilots or astronauts. You may actually want to supply food near the floor, so if you can't physically get up, you've still got food on the floor.
Whatever the future may hold, Byron and his wife Annie plan to be a part of it. And if they can, they hope to help others weather any possible storms that lie ahead.
We've moved past our fear by doing those things to prepare, both physically and mentally and emotionally. And I found that when you do prepare, you do get past the fear.